How are you
Hi,
today?
Bruce.
What was the reunion like for the two of you? Did you say, "Oh, we must work together again. It must happen"?
Yeah, kind of. At least for me, I'll always work with Martha. I'll work with Martha anywhere. Um, but I was really happy that we got to do something so completely different. You know.
hmm It was it was unexpected, but very cool. Um, I had heard that Garrett and Greg were going to be doing this new show, and I was working on another show at the time, and I was kind of pissed off. I was kind of resentful. I kind of wanted to be. I mean, I
I
was
didn't
like,
get
"What?
called. Come on.
Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm not what?"
It even said in the script a Martha Plimpton type,
um,
whatever that
um,
is.
yeah, right. Well, but luckily, for good or ill, my other show didn't go. It all ended up working out, and I was absolutely thrilled because even though the show is completely different and not at all the same, kind of plot or story or characters that our others were, I just was happy to kind of be in a strange way going home and working with my friends and with people I love.
Is there a shorthand that you have now because you have all worked together?
Definitely, I think and it wasn't just us. Chad Persons, our DP, the head of props, Byron, one of the ADs. I think Greg really fosters these kinds of relationships with people that it's just a testament to the kind of guy he is. Everybody wants to work with him again. It's just like it's hard enough to get a show made or a film made. Why not do it with people you love and trust? And it just makes things so much easier. And it's a massive outlay of energy from Greg, but he really sets the tone. It trickles down from the top, and it's a wonderful place to work.
Martha, yeah, and please, I hope you take this as the real compliment that I mean it in. I noticed a little Cloris Leachman in you.
Did you know?
Were you channeling her in some way?
Do you know? You know what? I'm going to let the audience decide. I will tell you that I had very little time to come up with my vision or my conception of this person. I think I had about 3 days. So and my initial inspiration was actually something completely different. It was just a physical idea that I wanted to go with, which is this Disney villainess, which I kind of want to let the audience figure out which one. Like, I don't want to say which one it was, but so many people, or a few people, have said that they see a little bit of Cloris in this woman. And you know what? I find very touching, and that actually makes me very, yeah.
Yeah, and there's also a little Amy Sedaris in there. I mean, I can give you a whole bunch of little nuances. You did a lot in 3 days.
Either that or I did nothing. I mean, it's one or the other.
Yeah, it's just me.
Either I did a lot or I just ripped a bunch of people off.
Yes. What am I watching on TV right now? That's who I'm going to be right there.
That's right.
Now, truly, you guys have had such a great dramatic run. How do you separate those two? How do you create that, my dramatic world and my comedic world? How do you separate those two?
Well, I don't even think about it, honestly. I know this is not going to be an exciting answer. I like stories. I like telling stories. I like telling the best story possible, and in this situation, I feel like I'm just trying to fulfill the writing and play the character that's in front of me. And it's not really any contortions I have to go through in terms of, Martha's in mass now. It's a different story, and she's going to play that character. She can't help it. She's going to have intention. She's going to have opinions as the character. She's incapable of an unrealistic turn. So it's just how it's going to go. So I don't want to say it was easy, but it's just not something I even think about, I guess. How about you?
I think it's all about, well, obviously it's all about context. I heard someone really quite brilliant say the other day that when you boil it right down, the essential difference between comedy and tragedy is that tragedy, people don't get what they want. Comedy, they get what they want in the end, right? And that's, of course, a very simplistic way of putting it, but ultimately you end up using the same tools, right? It's all the same bag of tricks and not bag of tricks. It's all the same techniques and skills and everything else. They're just, I don't know, maybe that sounds silly, but I'm with Garret. I mean, I just kind of, you do what the job calls for in the context that it's called for in, and sometimes it's sometimes it's a little easier than other times, but I think usually when it's good, either way, it's really fun.
Well, Garret, I hated you all summer long now with crawdads. I got to tell you. And
I haven't seen it yet, but
you'll hate yourself. You will hate that man and what he does. But then I get you in this, and it's like, oh my God, he's back to where I want him to be. He's a happy person and not an evil person. So, I mean, everybody can't pull it off. You guys, you really can. So please know that your ability to switch very quickly is a great gift. A great gift.
Oh, thank you.
How was it though, making a show about a pandemic during a pandemic?
Well, we made it was it last year? We finished last November. Yeah. So we were kind of, I don't want to say on the other side of it, but we were starting to get a handle on it at least, or at least understand it a little more. And I really didn't want to make a show about the pandemic. I was tired of seeing, people in masks on TV. I was tired of, being preached to about it. And I just liked how this was kind of a catalyst to get us going. And it's present, but it's more just a way in to meet this bizarre family, these weirdos, and laugh about it.
Well, what struck me is that I forgot about some of the things that we did back in the early days. And I love when Barb puts her hand over her mouth, like that's going to be a mask.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, right. Remember when we tried to do
what about the cigarette? What about the hole
right.
in the mouth through the cigarette?
Right. I mean, it's like, what's going on here? This is too much. But there's a real kind of Robin Hood, if you will, quality to this. Sure. And I can see it going into different worlds, but I don't know, will we still continue talking about the pandemic if it's still on, or does that disappear at some point?
Yeah, I don't know. And do we skip time? Do we come up, because it's just a couple of years ago the story takes place. It's not.
I mean, I see Greg, he works with whatever he's got.
Yeah.
Greg works with what interests him and, makes him laugh. And whatever he's got that's the impetus for that,
But
that's what he'll do.
He's so off the beam. I mean, it's like he's not like other comedy writers. It's like he creates worlds that you probably don't know. What is that?
I don't know. I do know he is interested in that, that part of humanity, that might not get the reality show, He's interested in those homes. I think he said one time, he's like, I'm not interested in that mansion. He's like, I want to go look in the window of that house down the street with all the junk in the yard. What goes on in that house?
Mm-hmm.
And the kids come out, laughing, like what goes on in there? And he's never equated, happiness with money or, other things. I don't know. He's a rare bird, and I'm fortunate that he's my friend.
Do you ever say no when he asks you to do something? Like, no, I'm not.
Why would you?
No, I'm not doing that.
Why would you say no?
Yeah.
Fear.
It's pretty great to have someone that I have so much faith in. You get old and cranky in this business, and you start not trusting people. Like, what are you telling? Why would I do that? And he's not one of those people. He's someone that's like, I might say, I don't get it. And then he'll explain it. I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. Now I get it, but yeah, I trust him. It's like he's the writer version of Martha, you know.
Yeah. I got on
Yeah.
a plane. I hadn't even read the scripts.
You're still creating the character and it's all shot, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the way it is? Hey, you two, thank you so much. This is so much
Thank you.
fun and it was just what I needed. So just know that you're
Oh,
helping me through a pandemic, and when I'm stuck in the house, it's
Yeah.
good to be sprung.
Well,
that's
good.
lovely. Thank you.
Thank you
Good.
so much. It was a pleasure.